Hello and welcome to my series of build videos. This video is going to be a showcase of my healer build. I've been running this for several patches now, ever since Morrowind. I've done all the content before Morrowind and through the Morrowind all the way to Clockwork City. I've even done Veteran Asylum Sanctorum with this healer. Alright, let's get into the skills. Combat Prayer. This is a needed skill. It will give you Minor Berserk, Major Resolve, and Minor Ward, which increases you and your allies' damage done by 8% and physical resistance and spell resistance by 1320 for 8 seconds. So every rotation this needs to be cast. Breath of Life is your oh crap button. You hit this when needed. Healing Springs. This ability is your go-to for a healer. It will also restore you magicka, depending on how many friendlies you hit with it, up to a maximum of 3. So you will be getting about 1,000 magicka back every time you cast this. Efficient Purge. This is needed for the new trial, not the new trial, but Halls of Fabrication. You're going to need this for, I think, the first 3 boss fights, and after that you can unslot it or keep it for your magicka return, it's fine. Harness Magicka. Every healer is going to need a shield just for extra survivability, but I'll show you another way to do it as well. Where sometimes you don't even need a shield. You should always be standing in your heals. As a healer, this will keep you alive. Aggressive Warhorn. This should be the only ultimate that any support member of any trial group should be casting. It gives you and your allies major force, increasing your critical damage done by 15% for 9.5 seconds. It'll also give you minor toughness and increase your health by 10% and your max magicka and max stamina for 10%. It's a really good ability. Should be the only ultimate you cast again. Alright, for my back bar, this is more of a support bar. Blockade of Storms. You're basically setting concussed enemies off balance. That's part of your job as a support role healer in a trial group. As long as... Now, sometimes really optimized trial groups will be running up to, or maybe even more than 3 lightning walls. If that is the case, make sure you're communicating with your trial group to find this out. If it's the case, then what you want to do is you could go double resto. Or you could do double destro and just run, let's say, since I'm already running shards, I'd probably run Ritual of Retribution. That's probably what I would run instead of Lightning Wall. Elemental Drain is an absolute must. You need this ability for the Magic of Steel. You're not doing it for the Major Breach, because the tank will be doing that if they have the correct morph. What you are doing this for is the Magic of Steel for your magicka users. Luminous Shards. The reason why I run this and not Orbs is because Orbs and Shards share a cooldown. Orbs are bugged at the moment. They're supposed to be patched for the Dragon Bones DLC, but for Clockwork City they are still bugged. They don't show up when you're casting a skill, or seconds after or before you're casting a skill. So they're pretty much useless, so I just throw shards. They share the same cooldown anyway. Channeled Focus is a must. You need this. It increases your physical and spell resistance, and it gives you about 240 magicka a second, or 480 magicka recovery. basically, because your magicka recovery is every 2 seconds. So think of this as a 480 magicka recovery bonus. I double bar shield for extra survivability, and I also double bar aggressive warhorn because I don't use barrier. Barrier is for beginning healers, and probably for, you could probably slot it if you wanted to. I don't even have it, as you can see. Use this for 4-man dungeons here, Panacea. I haven't morphed it yet. Once I do, though, it'll basically act as a really cheap warhorn. Okay, that's the skills. Now, let's get this all buffed up here so I can show you my stat sheet. Stat sheet, fully buffed. I'm sitting at 2,000 magicka recovery. I've got 23,000 spell resistance and 16,000 physical resistance, which is great. You're basically looking at a 25% reduction on spells from enemies, because the full, actually it's a little bit more than that, it's about 30%, because the full 33,000 spell resistance would be a 50% reduction. I've got 47 into magicka, 17 into health. I took the Atronach, and I'm using buy stat food. For gear, I am running, I've got a mending staff, decisive. I've got several other mending staffs as well. I use decisive for the ultimate gain. And I'm running a random staff on the back bar. The reason why I'm using this one, I've also put a weakening damage, a weakening enchantment on it. But the reason I'm using this one is defending. It's not for the set. I don't use Twilight Remedy at all, but it is something you could use if you'd like to. I'm running one pirate skeleton. The reason for this is the extra resistances it offers for the one piece. Spell power cure. Spell power cure, and then I'm using one piece mending. I have a better sash, I just can't find it. And then I got the jewelry, all magicka recovery. You absolutely need magicka recovery in order to get to where you can be comfortable as a healer. You need over 2k magicka recovery. You need 19k health. It's an absolute must to be able to survive. So with Eben, you're hitting 20k. With Warhorn, you're hitting 21k health. So let's take a look at the champion points. For Blue Tree, I've got 75 Blessed, 73 in Elfborn, 82 in Thaumaturge, 34 Ironclad, 34 Thick Skin, 1 in Light Armor. That's about a 0.5% increase. Not really worth it, but I had to put that extra point somewhere. 56 Hardy, 56 Elemental Defender, 26 in Bastion, 23 in Quick Recovery. Green Tree, I've got 5 in Mooncalf, 75 Arcanist, 75 Tenacity, 75 in Tumbling. Alright, that concludes the champion points. Alright, so you want all your passives in Restoring Light. Obviously, the reason for this is that is your healing tree. You want your passives in Destruction Staff and Restoration Staff as well. One of the biggest reason for that is Cycle of Life is a huge boost to your recovery. This is also good when you block a spell. A lot of the times you're hitting block in different trials for different mechanics. Sometimes it's to block a spell, not all the time. All your passives in Light Armor. Your heavy armor, eventually you're going to want to get your Juggernaut passive. Undaunted is a must to level up. I haven't quite done that yet. Like I said, this is a brand new character. Support, you're going to want this leveled up. I am a Breton, but this is the PvP race. This is the one that you're going to run in PvP as a PvE healer. You are going to run an Argonian. And as a damage dealing healer for Dragonstar Arena or some type of content like that, you're going to run a High Elf. You're going to want your alchemy up all the way too, which I don't have. Like I said, brand new healer. Anyway, so let's get into the rotation a little bit, just to show you guys a little bit of how this works. In Magic, you just do a couple of heavy attacks. Pretty much got your magic back. And as you can see, you're basically just running right through your skills. Now, as a healer, you're going to be basically making sure that you Ellie drain everything. Especially if you're the Ellie drain healer. If you are the one that's running Ellie drain, then you're going to be first Ellie draining everything, second laying your blockade of storms onto whatever you can. Usually the tank will group up the adds and you will lay down your blockade of storms, getting on the side behind the DPS kind of like that, and then putting your blockade down like that. So it covers the whole thing. Anyway, so that's my healer build. I hope this helped. Take care. Enjoy.